Hello and welcome to another edition of the video with me, Ajita Srinivasan. I am the founder of Iridescence Academy, and here I am sharing about the topic of fears. When we talk about fears, there are two words that come to mind: F-E-A-R-S, which is everything that we are scared about or fearful of. The other word that comes to mind is fears, as in F-I-E-R-C-E, which is being a fierce, intense individual or fierce in our behavior. So I'm going to be addressing fears, F-E-A-R-S, which is things that seem to be scaring us, seem to be putting us in a place of inability to move, inability to act, and keeps us small in our life, doesn't it? So today's topic specifically, I chose this is because a lot of us, including myself, this is why the topic is very close to me, is because I have and I still am going through different levels of fears about different things in life. And so it became very pertinent for me to use this or pick this topic for really sharing and talking about it. Now, through my journey in the past 5 years of personal transformation, there are very different types of fears that showed up at different points. And the way, I'm really going to be sharing today the way I handled them. I had a lot of help, in full honesty. As much as I'm offering this as a video for those of you that are drawn to it and are able to learn something or derive something from it, I was equally drawn to a lot of, techniques, a lot of people that shared their experiences, and also, theta healing modality that I'm certified in. So a lot of things helped me really navigate that phase. So whatever I'm going to share with you today is things that have helped me, and just with the intention of maybe it will help you, right? We don't know, so why not? Why not share and see? And here is the deal. The deal is that if something about what I'm saying here in this video or anything I've said in any of my other videos does not resonate for you, you're welcome to just discard it and move forward. Because as I always truly believe that what is right for me may not be right for you, right? This is where a lot of us end up getting stuck in this whole, what I feel and believe is the only right thing. And hence we get into arguments and we get into a lot of disagreements with people. And the beauty is when you really, really deeply appreciate that what feels right for you is right for you. And that is enough. We don't have to walk around trying to convince other people why it is right for you and why what somebody else believes is not right, right? That is where there's so much discordance in the world around us. So I fully honor whatever you feel is right for you, and I'm here sharing what I feel is right for me. And if that resonates for you, if it even makes you think a little bit and maybe explore a little bit and maybe say, what's the harm in trying something like this? Any of this, perfect. That's really my intention. My goal is just to share and see what helps. Now, when we go back to the topic of fear, there are some very generic fears we experience. Generic meaning fear of failure, right? That is so intrinsic to humankind, where we are so scared of failing that we end up not living. We don't make the choices to really take a step that could put us in a different place, in a different place, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, any which way, right? Any which way. The reason we feel like we're so stuck, and or we feel that if I do this, then what if I fail? That's a huge, deep down, if you really peel the onion, you will see that the fear of failure is so intrinsic in the undercurrent of fears that we experience. The second element of fear is fear of death. And fear of death in itself is, again, I work with a lot of clients that, that I work with on the theta healing modality. And when we do what's called digging as a process to really peel the onion, starting with, maybe fear of death, we find out that most often than not, that is really not the bottom fear or the real issue. But it is still there. It exists. The mortality aspect of being a human that we are, humankind that we are, does exist. And a lot of our decisions, end up being influenced by that fear as well. The fear of being judged, right? Very, very fundamental to all of us. We don't want to do anything that could lead us to get judged. And that's what I mean by playing it small, is because if you know that there is something about your journey, about what you have gone through or what you've experienced is going to help somebody else, you will stop worrying about what other people will think or what other people will say. It also takes a good level of learning to love yourself fully and completely to be what I call as being to be immune to judgments. So the fear of judgment is another very fundamental fear that exists in all of us, that stifles us, that stops us, that keeps us in playing small in our lives. And the fourth one that comes to mind is fear of being alone. Right? A lot of us would rather be in a place of unhappiness in a relationship, whether it's a job or a personal relationship, simply because we don't want to be left alone. We'd rather be, and many of us, unfortunately, choose to be in abusive relationships because the mere thought of stepping outside of it and leading a life that is going to make us, tread the path alone is nightmarish enough to say, you know what, it's not all that bad. Let me just put up with this. So that's just the example that comes to mind about fear of being alone or the fear of being abandoned. That's the other element of aspect. And then the fifth one that comes to mind is fear of not being good enough, or fear of not being worthy, right? So there is this element again of internal voice that says, who do you think you are? Like, who do you think you are? You think you're good enough to do this, right? That inner voice that challenges you. So that's another one that surfaces up. And last but not the least is fear of not being loved. We all deep down, if you look at us as a humankind, deep down, we all want to be seen, loved, accepted. That's it. That's so fundamental to who we are, that all of the opposites end up being the fear, right? What if this doesn't happen? What if? And those manifest as fears. And everything that I've just described here are different facets to that fundamental energy of something that we are imagining. here's the truth bomb, is all of that is imaginary. It's what we tell ourselves. It's what we are so conditioned with, programmed with, that we cannot think past it. We cannot get past it because it feels so real. It feels so real that it does not, we're not even aware that it's pure make believe. It's really something we've made up as something in our head. And I love the saying that, both fear and faith are imaginary. Question is, what are you choosing, right? I've heard this many times in many different forums, and I felt like I needed to repeat it, is because that's where, my friends, the power lies, is what are we choosing? Everything I've described as fear is imaginary. On the flip side of this, right? What if I am loved? What if I'm enough? What if I belong with a lot of people that love me, that accept me? And what if I'm able to really be my full potential self? Right? If you look at the flip side of all of these, it's about us asking ourselves, what if I am enough? What if, right? That's a what if. That's where the power lies, is choosing one versus the other. Having said that, I will share something as an experience that I had where fear felt real for me. It felt real to the point where my body felt it in every fiber. And I'm thankful to my theta healing teacher, Victoria Rader, who taught me this technique, or at least helped me walk through this. And I used this at that point, and it was a huge aha moment. From then on, anything that I feared, I just decided to use this technique. So the technique is nothing complex. You're just going to close your eyes, and whatever it is that you're fearful of, you're going to just bring that in front of you and ask the question, what are you trying to teach me? Why are you in my reality? You're going to ask that question. And I'm going to give you an example of when I use this, when I experience this, and that probably will help you kind of relate or understand it better. So you ask the question, what are you here to teach me? And wait to receive an answer, because the fear is there because it's teaching you something. And when you receive the answer, you're going to say, thank you. I choose to learn this without your presence in my life. That's it. And watch it leave. Watch the fear leave. Just feel it, witness it, however it is natural for you. Just let it go. Just let it leave. Right? Now, this is the particular scenario I remember in my life where I had used this technique, and it was so powerful. It just gave me that strength saying, yes, anytime I have any fears, I know I can go back to this technique and do this. This was back, I think, about 3 years ago, when my dad was in the hospital. He's no more. He passed away in November of 2018. And he was in the hospital. So I think it was 2 years ago. When he was in the hospital, there was, I used to have, this is again pre-theta healing days, I used to have severe attack of vertigo, that I used to just lose my entire balance. And it used to make me feel totally out of control. And I healed that through theta healing with my teacher's help. That said, there was this sudden attack of fear. I'm sitting in the waiting room in the hospital, and this huge attack of fear, as if it's going to come back. That feeling of, it was not the feeling of the vertigo itself, but the fear was coming into my body. So I just had to sit down, and I told my mom, who was sitting next to me, that, just let me be. I'm meditating. That's what I told her. And just closed my eyes, and I felt the fear in my body, in every part of me. It was feeling so real. And I just closed my eyes and asked, why are you here? What is your message for me? What are you trying to teach me? And the message I received was, I'm in control. I'm in control of your life. And I want you to learn, I'm teaching you that I'm in control of your life. So that didn't resonate for me at all. So I just heard it, and I said, thank you. Thank you for showing me where I have let go of my power, of where I've let go of control in my life on my own self. Thank you for teaching me that. I choose to learn this lesson of learning to, stand in my power, learning to own and control my own life without your presence. Right. So I said that, and my eyes was closed all through this time. And I just saw it. Of course, the energy that was in front of me was unhappy with my choice. But guess what? This is the beauty of us choosing, because that's in alignment with what we call the universal law of free will. You get to choose. You get to choose, am I going to feed this fear, or am I going to feed the power that I have been given at a deeper level? And when I made that conscious choice and I said, I choose to learn this without your presence, the energy had no choice but to leave. Isn't that powerful? So I know this is what I was guided to really talk about and share with you, that every one of the fears I listed in this particular video is, I don't know which one resonates for you, which one you can relate to. Maybe you can relate to all, maybe you relate to none. It doesn't matter. The message or the essence of what I wanted to share with you all today is that we have the power. We have the ability to choose. We always do. It's been bestowed upon us from the time we were born, or even before, but let's keep it at least at this point, that from the time we were born, we've been bestowed with the power to make a choice. So my friends, what are you choosing today? Fear or faith?